we battle, but make it quick. Oh, Ring Ring, you have such a good battle, mate. You killing me so good. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna
You kill me so good.
Wow, that was the best battle ever.
Where I went to middle school, the special ed classes were held in a little trailer out behind the main building. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, Curtis, I'll bet you had a special relationship with that trailer and you knew quite a bit about it. And well, you would be correct. I wasn't out in the little trailer though for the most traditional reasons. You see, I learned early on that if I thought something was going to be funny, I was going to say it or do it, and I would worry about the consequences later. Turns out if you do that often enough, the consequences are you go out and you do some time in the little trailer. But the joke was on the administration because it turns out that I liked it out in the little trailer. They were good people. Those kids were some of the most fun people I've ever met in my life. We had a blast out there. And the thing I really liked about it is when you were in the little trailer, expectations were kept really low. And, that worked out really well for me. And here's the thing about the special ed kids. They were nuts. And I mean that in that these kids knew all the greatest dirty jokes ever told in history. Most of my dirty joke collection comes from the little trailer. In my first day there, as I came in, there's like a big welcoming party. Everybody's coming up and they're hugging on you and everything. And this little girl, Hannah, who was the queen of the dirty jokes, and I assume probably still is to this day, she says to me, Curtis, my favorite sex position is called wow. It's where I flip your mom over. And she laughed, and it's still one of the greatest dirty jokes of all time. These were my people. Except for this one dude. His name was Stevie. He had Down syndrome, and he really hated me. Stevie saw the little trailer as kind of a prison community. And when we would go out for recess, that was yard time, and that is apparently where Stevie was king. I think one of the reasons, or the main reason Stevie hated me was because I think he had the hots for Hannah, and Hannah had been a little too welcoming to, this little fat ginger kid who got sent there because he was a wise ass. She came right up and gave me her favorite dirty joke and everything, and I think that bothered Stevie. So one day when we were out in the yard, Stevie comes up to me and he says, Curtis, you're gonna be my bitch. And I said, I am? Why am I gonna do that? And he said, because I'm Stevie and I said, you're my bitch. Now wash my socks. Apparently Stevie had been watching a lot of those 1970s prison films. I said, okay, Stevie, but here's the thing. You didn't really have to make the word socks plural because you're only wearing one. And Stevie just looked down and he went, oh shit. But that seemed to really tweak Stevie. He looked at me and he said, you think you're really goddamn smart, don't you? I said, well, no, I'm no genius, but I am wearing 2 socks. And with that, the prison fight was on. Now, I'd like to say it was a close fight. It was give and take, could have gone either way. We both got in a bunch of really good shots. But that would be a lie. And I'd also like to say that I won the fight, but that also would be a lie. I mean, hell, I'd even like to say that, Stevie had Down syndrome and I felt kind of bad for him, so I took it down a notch, and I didn't give my best effort, but that also would be a lie. The truth was, Stevie kicked the shit out of me. So when yard time was over, we went back into the classroom, and I went back into the little craft area there where they had a sink, and I washed Stevie's sock. But it was all worth it. I learned a lot out in the little trailer. I learned a lot of really great dirty jokes. I made a lot of good new friends, and I learned how to accept defeat graciously because Stevie kicked my ass a lot. But the truth is, I missed the little trailer. Expectations were kept right at a level that made me comfortable, and well, adulting sucks. Being a grown-up is the shits. I want to go back to the little trailer and wash Stevie's sock.
As representative of
Jar Jar, look out!
Yeah, Jar Jar's annoying. Yeah, I get it.